Hello everyone, we are here. This is Joseph. He is my best man. I'm getting married in like 3 days.
That's right.
But right now, before we all start doing bachelor and bachelorette stuff, we are going to try to install this Viofo dash cam into Bruce, my fiance's car that I have a video of us going to get. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. But we are going to install this dash cam in it. Joseph has installed the dash cam before, not quite the same model and not in this car, but they're all more or less the same. And I have done other mods like installing a Tesla sunshade. So if you haven't seen that, go check that install out as well. So Joseph's going to be here to help, give some advice, hold the camera. Let's now take this car apart and see what happens. Here we are. We got the A229 Plus 2-channel. So it's a front and a back, which I've got the Tesla Model Y, which has Tesla cam and Sentry mode and like 360 video at all times, which is a great feature, just that more cars should come standard with now. But this car is from 2014, so it certainly does not have a dash cam standard. So we're going to install this dash cam for Belle. Quick start guide, after sales stuff. I have already opened this box before, so these won't be quite where they all should be, but so here we've got the front camera with the little display and the rear camera, which is just this nice little pill looking thing. And then in here we've got all of the stickers and a warning if you'd like to tell everyone else that you have a dash cam. Probably will not do that. And then all of the cords as well. With a trim tool. Everything's got its own trim tool. Cool. So that's everything.
Mine did not come with a trim tool. That would have been nice.
So that's everything that comes in the box. Let's figure out where we want to mount it first, I think, and then let's go from there. So hop in the car, I guess. I think that we figured out that it's going to go somewhere over here on the like really top passenger side. We need to plug it in and actually see the field of view to figure out exactly where I want it. So got out the cord with the little 12-volt plug, and it's very clearly labeled. This is like a normal USB port, and it says connect to car charger, and then the other side, USB-C port, connect to front cam. So it's very nicely labeled, which is very convenient. This is a very long cord to go to the front camera.
You'll understand why shortly.
I mean, I know that it's got to like thread all the way around, but it still feels like a very long. I have not plugged this in before, so we shall see what it happens. Cool. The car is not on, which means that it is still pulling power while the car is off. I don't know how to select. I assume it's that one. Oh, I don't know my GMT time zone.
I should know this too.
Eastern time zone in GMT.
No, I don't want to butcher it, but I think it's +7.
It's like such a non-useful way to measure time. -5?
-5. I was on the opposite end.
If we're not in daylight savings, which we're not, so -5. Okay, GMT -5. Now it is looking for satellite, miles per hour. So let's figure out this field of view. If you are right there, what are you seeing? Oh, wait, are you actually seeing like the whole thing? Is this? No, you're seeing that. Gotcha. So you might have to go down here to avoid that thing. Or at least right there. Okay. So once it's right here, it can actually see the whole windshield. Actually really nicely. Cool. So yeah, we'll have to put it right up there. Now, I want you to be quiet. Solved. Now we start taking apart the headliner to wire in the cord. This is, again, really long.
It's a long cable.
Alright, so step 1, mount this to where we just kind of figured out that we wanted it. Yeah, right there is a really nice view of everything. So I'm going to install this little static cling thing right there, and then attach to the windshield. Try to get that as clean as possible with my finger. Peel this off. Dashcam installed. And it is like perfectly behind the mirror from me sitting here. So it should be about out of line of sight. And yet it can still see everything very well. You can see all the way to the front of the windshield.
It can see everything.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So let's start trying to route this wiring. I'm gonna come over to the other side. Alrighty, so I unplugged it again because it's gonna keep beeping at me and it's getting annoying. So my goal is to route the wire up underneath this plastic piece and then up through the headliner. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to take off this plastic piece. I have seen it done. There's actually a pretty cool BMW like dash cam that someone has built like a mount for that actually builds into this, so it just kind of like completely disappears, which is cool. I obviously don't have that, so I have to figure out how to do this myself. There's enough of a
Yeah, if
there.
there's enough of a gap there, you can just start wiring. And seriously, once you've got enough of the wire there, you can, it's kind of firmly in place, you can kind of just do the rest of it.
Alright, so let's try to get it into here. I just gave us a nice big space. Now do it again. There it goes. Nice. There we go. Okay, now it's actually tucked in nicely where the other wires route through here from the mirror, and the rain sensor I think is what's up here as well. But nice. Okay, that's actually really nice and secure. I like that. Cool. Now we're gonna route it along this headliner. All right. Oh, and that just wants to fit right in without me doing anything. That's amazing. There you go. All right, now over here, we've got kind of a couple different options. Well, let me get this corner first because this corner's being problematic. Option one for this little spot is to keep bringing it down this way and then around here and around. I'm going to bring it down this line and then into this weather stripping and bring that down and around because that makes the most sense to me. I just need to actually pop out this trim piece a little bit.
I think that's what I did actually.
Cool.
The weather stripping.
It makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
I just want to really get that up and in that hole.
Yeah, so that the...
I'm gonna go get my better trim tools. Cool. I've got my better trim tools that I got for Christmas last year, I believe, that I have never used because everything that I've bought since then has come with trim tools. So I don't even know which ones of these I'm supposed to use for what, but they're all just pry tools, so it doesn't really matter, I don't think. I really want to get this last little piece up in that corner. Come on, there we go. There we go. Now we bring it down and around here. Some give. There we go. What this looks like. Thread it around. Get it between that corner. This headliner piece comes literally up to like the hard rubber that's in here. So I don't think like there's any actual space for this to come between those two. So that's fine. It'll just have to go over that and then down here, which might make it come out a little bit, but I should be able to tuck it up enough where it doesn't really matter. It's not as obvious.
Yeah, I think my car is pretty distinctly different because there was this whole separate piece on the outside of, I believe, the outside of the airbag that I was able to pull off that wired pretty much straight down towards the passenger side for me.
Grab this thing and try this because it's got a little gap for it. This is not what this is for, but if it works for what I'm trying to do, then
Then awesome.
I will accept it. I don't know how to use these trim tools. I'm sure there's like a proper way that makes it the best. There we go. Once I find the correct angle, then everything works. But just getting to that place is tricky. Okay, cool. So we brought it down this part of the weather stripping. Oh no, never mind. I thought it looked like for a second that it was glued in to this side here, but it is not. So I just need to keep pulling and pushing. I'm not going to even be able to get my pry tool in here. Let's see if we can work out this way and then. Ooh, this is a tricky angle.
You might at this point just go up and back. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see if I can hide it as much as possible. Like, I can easily run it here, which is where it's going to go.
Right.
But still, I want to see how much of it I can tuck into this little seal here.
Because about this point, if I remember correctly, this is where I wrapped towards the top, very back of it, and then, you know, coiled up whatever was left.
Yeah, it looks like there's a nice. It looks like there's a nice plastic piece up here that I can like tuck under and hide like an extra coils, which will be nice. I just really want to. I'm just very determined to hide this. I want no evidence.
Don't forget about your evidence up at the top.
Shh. We'll come back to that. Now let's actually try to get in this tiny room. Okay, I'm gonna get this for a second. Alright, so what we're doing. Let's see if I can get over there. So that's the little struggle right now. Is it necessary to cover it up? No, because obviously this cord is just going to be tucked back here. But I'm able to get this trim over the top of it, at least up here, just to get like just that last little bit. That would be great. But as you can see, got this other little black piece right here that it's tucked behind that I can't get a good angle to grab. So my thought was if I try to start down here and try this side up, which even that is kind of, there we go, down there is nice. If I could get it all the way up, it just does not want to come out of there. It's very stuck. All the way up. Okay, got that. Hey, there we go. You know what? It's not quite tucked in there, but I might be able to live with that. I think I'm okay with that. All right. Now I take it under. I might have to take you. Nice. So Joseph just got me this little gimbal because some of my shots have been shaky, and it's got a nice little magnetic phone mount, so I can just like take the phone off without having to deal with all the clips or the the little clamp that the little clamp that most phone stands have. Okay, so we're gonna route it underneath here now. We should be able to just take it back behind this plastic piece. There's also this little screw, so I might be able to take off this plastic piece and then route it around to the 12 volt, which is right there. Ideally, we'd probably try to take this piece off and route it up and through, but that might be a little too much effort. I'll see what happens. But there's also an airbag right there, so we wouldn't want to blow that. So yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to really see what I do down here, so I'll check back in after I've done that. So while trying to route the stuff down here, I have found the fuse box, which I just haven't ever found before. It's got a nice little instruction manual in there telling you what all the fuses do, which is cool. I have seen a video with a dash cam where they just wired it directly into the fuse box. And since we've routed this right over here, it would actually be kind of a perfect place to do so. I don't have the kit for that, nor the current knowledge of how to strip this wire to try to figure that out. But it is something that I will consider in the future if we so choose, and if we start using this 12 volt for more. But I mean, we've never used it yet, so I don't know what we'd use it for now, but that is an option since we've already routed it this direction, which is great. Okay, so this little shelf down here where all the fuses are is the perfect spot to coil up any extra wire and just kind of tuck it in here and then make it all disappear when I fold this thing back up into the ceiling. See, and now it's gone, and all the cord comes out right there and leads around up to the 12 volt, but is still for the most part hidden. I might probably will like try to tack that up to the thing a little bit, but I don't want to put too much curvature or stress on the actual plug itself, so I might leave it how it is, a little dangly there. But for the most part, we're almost done. Just gonna clean up down here a little bit and reattach this shelf, and then we should be good to go on the front camera. Okay, so I got the cord all wrapped up in here. It's back up, screwed in. Everything's fine down here. I'll take another shot of down here at the end when I'm done with everything. You can see there's a little bit of this cord, got a little bit of give. I also kind of noticed that there's another airbag box down there, and I want to make sure that I don't have the cord running in front of that at all, so I'm going to leave a little bit of slack so it can stay out of the way. But the front camera is done and looks very clean, which is excellent. Now we just have to figure out how we're routing the back camera. This front part will probably be pretty similar. We're probably going to take it up probably around here again if there's still space, and then we have to probably go. It'll probably follow a lot of the same route, actually, to be honest. So let's get started. Okay, so after a small snafu, I have realized that the port to plug in the rear camera was actually right up against that trim piece that I had put the camera right up next to, so I had to move the camera just slightly, but it didn't really affect anything else, so we're still good there. So now we're just gonna run the trim. So I'm gonna set you over somewhere and then maybe edit out all of this, but we're gonna run the wire to the back and figure out where the rear camera is going to go. So I've got, again, Belle's taking this on her bachelorette party, so it was kind of full of stuff, but I emptied out all of that stuff so I could get in the back here, and we are going to see where we want to put this rear camera. So let's do that part first, I guess. This is going to be interesting because this glass moves very far from where the door is when it's closed. So if I attach this here, I've got to make sure that it's loose enough that it can open all the way without like tugging on the camera, but also route the wires that nothing gets pinched when it closes. So this will be an interesting part of this project. And I think that I was right, that we're just going to route it through here like normal, but then I have to figure out where I want to send it. Because if we're going to route it through the headliner over here, then we could bring it up behind these hinges through here. So then when this is attached, it'll like go up there and then go in here and behind here. And then when it closes, it'll just kind of hang down like that, which might be what we have to do. Because obviously, letting it open without pulling anything out is the most important part. So wherever the wires have to be after that, it's kind of just where it's going to fall. So let's start running this wire, because as long as we've got some extra, there are fewer places with this route to leave a coiled wire. So we might end up with having some extra like up here where it might need to be. But this is a long cord. This is a very long cord. So like this is plugged into the camera in the front. And granted, we haven't run it up and around or anything yet, but I still feel like this is going to be a very long cord. All right, so let's do this again. Hopefully both of these cords can fit along the exact same pathing. They should be able to. I can get this. There we go. This headliner is very loose in the front here, which like makes this really easy, but I'm also a little confused by it. Again, we don't want to deal with the airbag here. We don't want to interfere with the airbag here. There we go. Cool. Sometimes you just gotta get in there with your fingers. Now, instead of having to come around here and have this little exposed piece, now we're gonna run it up this direction underneath this seal. Just want to make sure that it stays hidden, but this should be relatively easier. Well, all right. That is all pretty well done. Over here, we have another interesting couple of options. So as we get to this part right here, so we can either route it around the back and behind this, or possibly take off this housing and run it directly through. Because if you see the sealing, the rubber seal goes behind this housing. So if we could somehow keep it in there and go all the way through, that would be ideal. I'm going to see if I can take off this housing though. All right, so the phone died, or was about to die. So charged it up a little bit, came back. While it was charging, we figured out a couple things. We figured out where we want to mount the rear camera. I already talked about how it's going to be an issue because of the distance that the window travels when you open up the trunk. But while we were also waiting for things to charge, I worked on this a little bit, and actually this is actually really pliable, so I just shoved the wiring in through there, and now you can see that it's behind here. I would still love to get it up underneath the seal, but it's unnecessary and also probably going to be a little weird. I might still try to do it, but that'll be a later thing after we get everything, the rest of it set up. So let's...
Plus, it's kind of nice that it's already up, now, because he's trying to have it ready for Belle today.
Yes. So we already checked the doors all close perfectly fine. So now let's just finish wiring it through the trim. So that's bright sunlight. Okay. So that looks pretty good. You really can't tell. Obviously, it's a little weird because it's going underneath the trim over here, and then it's coming back over the trim, and then it's going back under the trim. So you can kind of see it a little bit right there, but it's not that big of a deal. The rest of this is more important and very easy to cover. Now we come over here. There's an airbag sign. When I was watching the install video, well, it was another car, but they pointed out that you always want to make sure you route behind or avoid the airbag, because you don't want the airbag to deploy and catch a wire and then tattoo a wire and possibly the whole, if it pulls everything else off, that would not be ideal. But I don't really know how to avoid that. he took off the whole panel and then wired it behind the whole airbag module, which would be ideal, but I don't really know how to do that. And also, this does not come off very easily at all. So I'm just going to try to look in here and keep it as around as possible. If this is highly dangerous, someone tell me in the comments and I will try to fix it. But this just the headliner has some give, but this has no give at all. And I don't know how to take it off or if it's really worth doing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, when I did it, I did take it off. Mind you, my panel had these clips that are difficult to take off but easy to put back on.
Okay.
I don't know what your car has. If you want to look into it, I think it's probably worth it, because I did do mine right when I did it through the airbag section.
Cool. We got it routed around the airbag for now, kind of. We brought it through this trim up around here and now up to here. Now, because of how these hinges work, we can actually just route it behind it and then shove it up into the trim, or into the, again, this rubber part that I still haven't learned what it's called. And then it's going to attach right here, so we only need to do this one. It's a little awkward. I might need to lower this a little bit to give myself a little more finger space in there. But that is mostly there. Oh, there we go. I think it snapped into place. This is
Where
very...
you tie up that extra cable.
That is a good question.
You really don't want to unupholster that.
Yeah.
Be careful.
This does not have nearly as much give as the Tesla did.
I think this one has that seal right there. This is the primary seal for when this closes. So that might be a bad place for it.
There, we will need to see how it closes.
Yeah, because see how that has a lot of give, but right here probably doesn't have, yeah, none.
Let's look at how this closes. It still closes. Might it be on the wire? Possibly.
We can even just pull it out a little and see if it flattened it at all. Not really. Might over time, but
might be okay for now. And then we've got a lot of extra wire.
yeah, a ton. And
no great place to try to hide it. I mean, part of me just says shove it in there if that's a bad idea. There's so much room, though. There's so much space back here. Until this all goes into it. Exactly. I just wrap it around here a bunch of times. No.
Great idea.
So, let's get the camera attached. While the phone was charging, we figured out that this can legitimately be as far up against here as possible and still have fine view. Let's just get that attached first, and then we can figure out what to do with the rest of it. Honestly, depending on how much space is in here, we might be able to put it in here. Maybe. Possibly. We'll see. We'll see. Let's get the sticky stuff and put it to the thing. All right, so we've got our little mount piece. We're gonna attach it right about in the middle, and then put the camera also right about in the middle, right there or so. Does that look like the middle? Yes.
It's pretty good. It's nice that you have those two screws up there that kind of act as markers.
That is true. Try to do as much. I mean, this is a very angled piece of glass.
Pretty good.
I don't know if you're actually supposed to take off this part if you're not sticking it directly to the glass. I did on the other side.
I don't know.
I don't know if we're ever going to be able to get it off. I know it's in the instructions.
I
just did not look at it. But it doesn't say. It just says attach the dash cam to the sticker.
I think it's glue to glue. You're supposed to hold it there for a certain amount of time.
Oh, I also did not do that in the front one. That's okay. All right, right here.
Ooh, pretty centered.
Stick. And like I said before, when the phone was dead, we lined it up. We got the view right, made sure that it looked good. Now that is nice and secure. And so nice and compact. It was good. Before we adjusted the angle, we had it like down here somewhere. It was right in the middle of the rear view, which was not great. But messed with the angle a little bit. Finally able to slide it up literally to the top, and yet it still does not see that upper piece. Interesting. Let's just attach you now. If I can figure out how much space this thing has, I might be able to wrap a little of it in there. Yeah. Let's wrap this up and see how much of it I can put in there. And again, it's smart to do this while it is open because there's so much cord, so much cable here.
This will be the furthest.
I'm not able to do this coiled. I have to kind of coil it as I go, if it even goes down, which maybe it doesn't. Boo! Go further. So, I guess we're just going to have to coil it up for now and grab one of those little twist ties, and maybe we'll just like attach it to this so it's kind of out of the way still.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Hey,
it worked.
Temporary solutions.
We're done. So
2 hours later.
Yeah, this was a lot harder than the sunshade, surprisingly. For some reason, I thought this would be easier. With these wires all wrapped up and secure and the rear camera plugged in, let's close this real quick just to make sure that nothing gets pinched. It will dangle, so we do need to tape that up a little bit because you can see it's hanging right in front of the window, and that means that it's going to be putting some weight on the camera, which is not ideal. So let's tape that up. Honestly, I might just use the rest of the electrical tape that's from the sunshade install because I don't think we have just electrical tape. But that is good and is doing what it should do. And like, you see, it's hidden up here, runs through here, you can't see it, runs all the way around to the side, you can't see it, goes into this trim, you can't see it, goes behind this latch, so the doors are still perfectly fine. So it comes all the way underneath this trim and around, and then you can see a little bit of it right here. I might be able to get rid of that, I might not, but it then goes up here, and which you can't see, around the top, which you can't see, and then down to the camera. And you can just see it coming out at the very end right there, which is amazing. So with that, we have the Viofo, whatever model this was, A229 Plus installed. We still need to get a micro SD card because for some reason I thought that it came with one, which it does not. But there it is in the front right there, right next to the rain sensor and frontal collision guidance thing. I like it. It's got great field of view. The install was not difficult. It was just tedious. From the driver's seat, you can barely see it. And then from the rear view, once we coil up those cables or hook them up, you can barely see the back as well. So again, there it is right up there. And you can honestly barely see it from the back anyway. Alright guys, so it's about a week later from when we were last working on this. It is now very snowy outside, and I am finally trying to get this done. So the cord had been pulling on the dash cam, the rear part of the dash cam like we saw, and it just pulled the dash cam off. So I needed a better place to hold that cord, and we couldn't find any tape that really stuck to that piece. So I finally figured out how to take off this like side piece, the side trim piece. There was a screw right here that we finally found that I didn't have the tool for, but my brother-in-law had the tool for. So we got the trim piece off. It's right here. That also allowed us to find the airbag, so we're routing it behind the airbag, and now we're going to attach the extra wire in here and then cover it back up with the trim piece. So that's the plan. We'll see how it works. And finally, it's a little bit later again, but we have all of the wiring tucked up nicely into this trim panel, lined up along the headliner, gone behind this hinge like it had, but now instead of just hanging right there, it's just this nice little cord that leads to the rear camera with all the rest of it tucked into this trim like we wanted to do. We wrapped it up. I think we used a little piece of duct tape to tape it to the inside, and then we put the trim back on. We did manage to break one of the pins that attaches this trim back into the wall, but with the seal pulled back over it, you can't really notice. But if I pull the trim back a little bit, you can see that little blue pin. That's the one that we broke. I'm sure I can find another one of those. I'm sure that that's not too difficult, but you can see the wiring that's wrapped up in there. So we have it safely routed behind the airbag up there and also out of the way right there. So time to go back to the conclusion footage that I took in the initial install, but I just wanted to backtrack a little bit and show you guys how it ended up looking after we did the final work. All right guys, thank you so much for watching this install. Again, this isn't really a fun like EV mod. This is kind of just a car mod. Like I said, living with a Tesla and having that Tesla cam on all the time and catching some, you know, other accidents, or like there were in the past 2 days, I have been like on two, I don't know if they were road rage or races on the highway. What the heck? But they've been in, well, no, they were in that car. I just haven't actually grabbed the footage. But like, again, 2 days in a row, we were on the highway and cars were just vroom, going around us and flying. I thought about joining, but I was a little late because it would have been funny because I could have just totally kept up with them. But you know, it's a bad idea. Don't do that. It's a bad idea.
Don't do that, kid.
If you want to see some great dash cam footage, Wham Bam Dash Cam, Wham Bam Tesla Cam. If you want to see the safety feature that's just built into Tesla, it's crazy. Most cars have cameras nowadays anyway, whether they're blind spot cameras, reverse cameras, or even just like the lane centering cameras that cars have. There's really no reason that cars can't have built-in dash cams anymore, but they just, for some reason, don't yet. Is Tesla still the only one that has a built-in dash
I
cam?
don't think so. I think there are a couple others now that do have them, but
Okay.
Tesla set the standard for it for sure.
So it is cool. It's a very nice feature to have. And now Bruce has it as well. So got front and back. Obviously doesn't have the full 360, but that is okay. Front and back is generally more than enough.
Yes.
Then at least to give you the idea. You might not see the exact impact. Like if
Right.
someone's like sideswipes you a little bit, you might not see the exact impact, but you can see them coming up to you and stuff. So it's
more than enough.
It's more than enough. If you do not have a dash cam, I would highly recommend getting one. There's like a wide variety of price ranges and quality. Yep. Depending on what you're doing, get the one that's right for you. Like if you're doing Uber, you might want a full like top of the line interior camera with microphones and everything. You can find those videos online too of Uber drivers that are getting like harassed and stuff. So it's good to always have that protection for yourself. If you're just driving and wanting to like make sure that you like if you get into a wreck, you have evidence, then you don't necessarily need the top of the line dash cam, but you know, the insurance is good to have. And speaking of insurance, dash cam can really help you if the other person tries to claim that it's your fault and it's not. Again, watch some dash cam footage. It'll make you drive more defensively. It'll make you be more aware of the road. It'll also make you want to get into an accident so you can submit a footage to Wham Bam Tesla Cam.
Not really. No. The nice thing about Viofos in particular, not that it's the best and only dash cam out there, but they also have separate models if you only, let's say right now, can afford one of their cheaper models or can only afford the front cam. Even that is significantly better than not having one at all. So Viofo is a great brand. Can definitely recommend them.
Yeah, I did a little bit of research when I was trying to figure out what dash cam to get. This was one of the ones that I saw highly recommended from a variety of forums and stuff. So that's what we have got. But if you have enjoyed this video, please check out my install of the other mod that I've done on the Tesla, the sunshade, which I just posted last week, I believe. If you have any mods that you would like to see, then please let me know. And if you guys want to fund them, then I will install them. Again, if you're in Kiva, I would love to talk to you about doing some modifications and making some footage of it. If you're interested in electric cars, because again, this is an electric car behind me that we just installed this dash cam on, then please check out the Knoxville Electric Vehicle Association. We will be gladly talk to you. This guy also has a Tesla, kind of. He has access to a Tesla.
It's my dad's Tesla, but I drive it a lot. It's fun.
I think this was the first Tesla I ever rode in, was his dad's Tesla. And shortly thereafter got my own. So it was they are very nice. But yeah, Tesla is not the be-all and end-all of EVs anymore. So if you'd like to learn more about some other EVs, talk to us about which one might be right for you, then come check it out. But until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. We will see you in the next video.